What does Jacob Zuma have to offer to this country? More of the same and worse. And why should we be concerned? Since he's famous and notorious, we sadly must pay attention. And we will keep watching him because according to him,
I don't have one lawyer, of course. I've got quite a few. I'm still going to have more. But I'm still going to cause trouble more.
But as you will see shortly, the reason why you should listen to Jacob Zuma is simple. He fought against apartheid. He deserves your ear because he once was fighting against apartheid. He just can't move on.
We are the only country that started freedom fighting and was at the end of completing that process.
Jacob Zuma complains about issues that if you were not aware, you would think he is truly a victim. He complains about the elite of this country as if he's not a member of that elite. Imagine being a thief and then go around the country complaining about how you are being persecuted and how you are a victim. Imagine claiming to be a victim when you are the one who is the main villain in the story.
We are going to do something about ourselves and about our country. There is no equality in our country. Those who were suffering in the past, some are suffering more than they did before. And you can't say what we did, even fighting for freedom, we have made it better. Only better to the few, not we, the majority.
The story of Jacob Zuma is a very sadistic one, if you ask me. He's one of the people who have caused this country to suffer so much poverty, and yet when he speaks, he makes it seem like he's one of us. Jacob Zuma wants to be a member of the public, but the truth is he's not one of us. He's one of the elites within our country while wanting the rest of us to hate the rest of the elites. He's a blood-sucking monster that has been draining our people of their loyal hearts for a long, long time. And it is really, really sad to witness.
In the process of this, I think things moved away from where we thought we were moving. And it is a fact. Painful to us who lost our comrades, who had people staying in prison, our leaders, for 20, how many years? 25? Except two were 26. The two friends.
Jacob Zuma is not a person who can claim to be a victim of anything. The right for all South Africans to vote came. People could vote. Jacob Zuma could also vote. He voted and he was also voted for by many people in our country. He was voted for the first time and then he was voted for the second time. Thabo Mbeki said this guy is corrupt.
I've come to the conclusion that the circumstances dictate that in the interest of the Honorable Deputy President, the government, our young democratic system and our country, it would be best to release Honorable Jacob Zuma from his responsibilities as Deputy President of the Republic and member of the Cabinet.
But the ANC, along with Julius Malema, stood up for him, of course. They chose him.
The people who were always wanted to oppress the black man, and they're still doing the same now. They are using the progressive laws of the ANC to discredit the good leadership of the ANC so that they can be projected. Leadership of the ANC can be projected as leadership which is not responsible, very responsible, which can't govern. So it's counter-revolutionary forces which are determined to derail, even to reverse the gains of our revolution. Even internationally, there are forces which wants to micromanage the government of the ANC, and they think with Zuma they can succeed. So they need a puppet. After Mbeki, they would have wanted a puppet. I don't know which puppet is that one. It's for you to say this is the type of puppet perhaps they are looking for, but they wouldn't want somebody who stand firm in defense of the democracy and sovereignty of our country. Maybe I must be a bit diplomatic and say I'm prepared to pay the highest price on earth in defense of Zuma. Had I said that, for sure I was not going to be in front pages. So I will say that in future so that I avoid a situation where people deliberately decide to distort it. But the highest price we're prepared to pay, TG, for Comrade JZ.
Jacob Zuma, the singer and dancer. And then most of the country fell for the dance moves and the songs. Why? Because he's a comrade. He was a freedom fighter. He sings well and he dances well. He is ANC, the party that set the people free. Hence, the people chose Jacob Zuma twice. But even after all of that, he will still come out and talk about himself as if he's a victim. Do you know how sick you must be in order for you to stand up and talk for a long time about how you are being victimized when you are the actual problem in most of the stories in our country? Who are the few that Jacob Zuma is talking about when he says better for the few? Is he not one of the few? Are the Guptas not some of the few? How many roads, schools, RDP houses, how many running water taps could have been installed instead of Nkandla, instead of the many, many Gupta contracts? Go to Mpumalanga where there are many communities with no roads and no electricity. Go to Eastern Cape where many children risk their lives crossing flooded rivers just to go to school because there are no proper roads and no bridges. Go to Limpopo where many communities have been waiting for taps with running water for years now. Go to KwaZulu-Natal where hundreds of thousands of households and schools still use pit latrines. Can you honestly say that these are the same communities that Jacob Zuma stood for? Can you honestly say that? Are you sure that Nkandla was good for our people? So many of our people still have no dignified houses to call homes. You build a few RDP houses but spend more than 200 million on yourself.
I spent my life, I spent my everything in the ANC. But I reached a point where ANC had changed, was no longer what I know it to be. And I had to, as a soldier, do something.
Under Zuma's watch is when the stealing of billions in state money in modern history occurred. But in his words, he is a victim. He's a victim that enabled the looting of billions that were meant to improve the lives of South Africans. The few that benefited are a few people connected to the ANC, connected to the Zumas, and by extension, the Guptas. The DA comes into some of these neglected communities and gives people solar and boreholes. But when Jacob Zuma gets the opportunity to take the microphone, he chooses to sing and dance, tells you how he's a victim, and then starts talking about war times and his days of being imprisoned for us. That is the only card that Jacob Zuma has, isn't it? I fought for you. I went to prison for you. Now hear me sing and watch me dance. See, I am the Zulu Michael Jackson.
Very innocent people who have gone to prison, served many years, having committed no crime, except to say we want to be free in our country. Some died. Some stayed in prison for decades, like our leaders, who were our best leaders ever. Best gentleman, if you wanted to. Lover of humanity. They had to stay in prison for many, many years. And it still continues, by the way, perhaps in a more modern way.
Mr. Nkandla, there are thousands of people who died during the apartheid era, black, white, colored, Indian, many that went to prison, many who were persecuted, and many who were tortured. And these are people of all races. Some are sitting at home, some are laid, others in unmarked graves.
Some of us, when we joined the struggle, we were ready to liberate those who were oppressed in this country. And I think we did well. We did well. We did things that others did not do.
The fact is, you are not the only person to fight for the end of apartheid. There is nothing special about you, Jacob Zuma. What you did was done by thousands and thousands of people across the country. You are not unique. You are one of many people of all races who fought for this country. Yet you walk around acting like you in particular did something so extraordinary to deserve the role of President of South Africa.
We ended up, during our freedom, becoming prisoners. And that's why I've got lawyers. Got one here, got one here. My lawyers, they are many. Because I think I'm more of a wrongdoer. So,
forget all the praise Duduzile and the MK party are giving you. Forget all the lies you have been telling yourself through the years. Fact is, simply as Jacob Zuma, without the ANC, without being a comrade, there is no day you were ever worthy to lead this country. The ANC should have filtered you out long ago to make sure an individual of your caliber does not make it close to the positions of power. But no, they were too weak. Look at you now, claiming that life has only gotten better for the few when you are the one who caused life to be better for the few, when you are one of the few. The few is the ANC. It is you, Jacob Zuma. It is Thabo Mbeki. It is Cyril Ramaphosa and other comrades. While life is better for you few, all of you are responsible for the wasteful spending and the lack of spending on the communities that needed that spending the most.
What I think we did not realize was that freedom can have different shades and whatever. I did not know at the time that we'll come to a point where we would not be able to reach the final end. We ended up standing somewhere before finishing everything. That is what has caused the problem today. One of the issues is the economy, because the economy of the country remained not equal. The life remained not equal.
Guys, don't be deceived by the singing and dancing so-called victim. Never forget about the state capture that he claims never took place. Never forget about the dangers of the MK Mafia. Never. Anyway, that's it for today. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to support our work, please either join our membership, donate to our account, or buy our t-shirt. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nkandla. This is Citizen Concerned. And until next time, beware of the comrades.